Scoop City, the podcast hosted by Diana Rossini on The Athletic. Chase Daniel went on with her, and she had an interesting comment about Bo Nix and Sean Payton. And I think there is a way that this could be mitigated a little bit.
Sean is panicky on the mic.
What do you mean? Like, give me an example.
Okay, let's. What hash is there? Okay. Give me. Do we want 12? No, 12. No, big 20. No, 11. 11 personnel. Okay, 11. Gun trips right 3 jet all special. It's probably gonna be like, huh? Like, no. Gun trips right 3 jet all. No, you get. Bo, you're getting a delay again. Like,
I would think he was the opposite because A, he's a perfectionist, but B, he's been doing this so long. Like, what is he panicking over?
it's a relationship between a play caller and a quarterback that's going to take time. They're not going to be perfect. They're going to get some delay of games. You just got to live with it.
The regression that could happen in Knockton. Look, a quarterback is always blamed for the delay of game and game management type stuff like that, procedural stuff in a huddle, and the penalties always called on the quarterback in that regard. But I think that is really good insight into what it's like when you have those coach comms, right? Because you'll see like a quarterback in his ear, he'll throw an arm out one side or the other, and that gives left hash, right hash. You know, you can go down in the middle for center, ball in the middle of the field. But that kind of frantic pacing with Sean Payton, obviously some quarterbacks cannot handle it.
Yeah.
But what is so good with Drew Brees was Drew Brees knew what Sean Payton was thinking.
Yes. They're on the same page, the same sheet music. The most recent example of that, did you ever see that clip of Stafford and McVay? Where McVay's still talking to him, and he's like, "Shut up!
Shut up! I know
what the play is."
And right there, you hear like the problem with Chase Daniel was he couldn't process. He needed to hear the whole play
and then put it together.
And what Sean Payton wants is a quarterback that when he starts the play call, he's like, "Got it. Okay, we're good. I don't need you to repeat that.
I don't need the alerts. I don't need the formation. I don't need to check. I know what tick 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 tick.
And I know that Daniel is going at this from being the backup and being in there like, okay, yeah, I need you to calm down because you don't want to screw anything up. You just want things to be right. But I think that it's a really good thing to kind of get out there that a lot of these rookie quarterbacks, when you see these, procedural issues that happen, a lot of it is the overthinking in that buzzword again, the processing.
Yeah, it's the reps, it's the familiarity, it's the knowledge. It's just it becomes institutional. And yes, even when you change coaches, you still understand like rhythms and cadence and thought processes. Like if you spend a year with a coach, a head coach, quarterbacks coach, whoever you're working with, coordinator, and you understand in the film room, in prep, hey, these are the things that we're going to try to do. And you know the calls and the alerts and the checks that are going to address those different looks and those different things that you're trying to set up. Then when the coach actually gets in your ear, you're like, I got you. I remember, hey, meeting, we're on the same page. Don't need to worry about it. But when you haven't seen that 80,000 times, like the Hard Knocks clip, it's still one of my favorites from the Jets last year when the Jets played the Broncos. And the safety walks up, shows the blitz. Roger goes, "You're not coming back up."
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, stop.
You're not it.
Stop.
Come on.
Like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, you can't throw anything at those guys because they've seen it all. And so it's rare, I think, when you get a CJ Stroud who does see and understand and make changes and can process very quickly from day one.
I think what'll be interesting with CJ Stroud is
the adjustment.
I think that he wasn't doing a lot of checking at the line, and they had some. CJ Stroud had a great year, and I don't want to make it sound like he did not have a great year.
But he wasn't processing like Peyton Manning in his prime.
Well, they also weren't a team that won a lot of games. They were 10-7, won that division, right?
Yeah,
right.
They're good.
They were good.
Yeah.
They were a good team, but they weren't elite. They weren't like a 13-4 or even 12-5 team. And those 2 wins mean a whole heck of a lot. He was really good.
Team and a 12-win team is very different.
Yeah. But when the rest of the NFL catches up, your schedule gets harder. Okay, and then you sit there and you're given more on your plate. What does that look like? That's where we see the sophomore regression in quarterbacks. So that's going to be a really interesting one, because I thought that the Texans were going to be primed for a regression year, and then they go out and they get Stephon Diggs, and they add another game-breaking wide receiver to add with Tank Dell and Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. Like they now have a true number one receiver too, which is invaluable, as your quarterback needs to have that guy who's that safety blanket, like we were talking about with Jordan Love.
Matt LaFleur is spitting in their general direction right now.
Spitting. Like he wants to throw up. Meanwhile,
spitting on that thing?
The Houston Texans.
Cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur.
We're going to take that number one receiver. We've got one now.
All his crazy.
Because that's where that number one receiver is so valuable, is when you're sitting there like, okay, I am kind of in a pretzel right now. I don't have the check. What do?
Stephon Diggs, go get it.
Throw it up to 14. Yeah. He'll bail me out. You know, put it where only 14 can get it. Put it where only Diggs can go and get the football. And a lot of times, if he doesn't get it, nobody else is, and I'm not hurt by that, right? Like that's a really great tool to have. That is like watching that show Receivers on Netflix. That's 90% of what Jimmy Garoppolo did to Devontae Adams last year, was just throw it where only he could get it. And sometimes Devontae Adams, namely wide open down the sideline, and he overthrew him by 20 yards. He didn't get it to where even Devontae Adams could get it.
Gross.
Yep. It was gross.
Gross.
And then like the quote that Devontae Adams had, where this guy's going to get me killed.
Yeah.
Throwing high over the middle. Like, I'm going to go get it, but he's going to get me killed at some point. And he almost did. He almost killed Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and DA still ended up having a pretty good year. The only redemptive quality about that offense.
Yep. Now he's got Minshew Mania, baby.
Babe.
Let's go.